morning, mathematicians. We are thinking about this lesson 9, which is about the birds. This says to make a birdhouse for a screech owl, the recommended area of the floor is 8 inches by 8 inches, and the recommended height is 12 inches to 15 inches. We are tasked with finding what is the recommended range of volumes for a screech owl birdhouse, and we must explain or show our thinking. So let's get started here. Let's think first about the minimum volume. So if I think about the minimum volume is going to be found by multiplying together. Of course, the area of the floor for both is going to be 8 by 8, but at minimum, the height must be 12 inches. So that means that I'm going to have a volume, remember volume equals length, times width times height. So my volume here at minimum is going to be 8 times 8, and then that minimum height is going to be 12. Now, I know that 8 times 8 is 64, so what I need to do here is find what is 64 times 12. Let's come to the bottom and do that. If I have 64 times 12, let's first multiply by the 2. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 6 is 12. Now I'm going to move on to my 1, which is in the 10 place. So I'm going to put in my 0, and now I'm going to do 1 times 4, which is 4, 1 times 6, which is 6. Well, let's add this together. 8 plus 0 is 8, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 1 plus 6 is 7. So at minimum, I'm going to need my volume to be 768 inches cubed. That's going to be the minimum volume for the birdhouse. Now let's come over here and let's find our max, right? So we know that we're still going to use the idea that volume is length times width times height, and we know that the length and the width are not going to change. So those are still going to be 8, just like they were at the beginning of my problem, right? We have a length of 8, we have a width of 8, but what's changed is the height. The height now for the max is going to be 15. Now, I'm still starting at the same place. I know that 8 times 8 is 64. Now I'm going to come to the bottom and I'm going to find, well, what is 64 times 15, right? Let's go ahead and start with our 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Here's my 0, carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So 5 times 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. And now I'm going to come over and I'm going to start with my 1. I have to put down my 0, and now I am ready to do my 1 times 4, which is 4, and 1 times 6, which is 6. Now, when I take a look at that and add that together, I'm going to get an answer that's just a little bit bigger. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 4 is 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. So at maximum, the volume is going to be 960, and again, that's inches cubed. So here I have found the range in the volume that I can have for the birdhouse, and I'm ready to report it, because remember, it does tell me to explain or show my thinking. I have shown the multiplication, right, that I had to do in this problem, but I really haven't written out the thinking or what it was that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and type that out here, okay? So we're going to say the range in volumes is at least 768 inches cubed and at most 960 inches cubed. Now I'm going to say exactly how I got to those. So I'm going to go ahead here and say that 8 times 8 equals 64. Then I took my 64 times 12, which equaled my minimum, which was 768, right? Now I'm going to do the same thing, but for my maximum. For my maximum, I still started in the same place. 8 times 8 equals 64. Then I had my 64 times 15, which equaled 960. Okay, now boys and girls, again, this is a measure of volume, so we do want to make sure that we report it in inches cubed, but I did that in my word sentence above, so I feel that that is sufficient to below just really explain the numbers that I used, multiplying those together, and how I got to those final answers. Well, this finishes out our lesson 9 of this unit 4.